Shana, I think you need to unmute yourself.
No, I just didn't say anything.
Oh, okay. So welcome everybody. We are on Facebook Live with Shana tonight of 10 Buffaloes Art. How are you doing, Shana?
I'm doing well. How are you, Lisa?
Doing okay. Beautiful weather here tonight in Oklahoma. Now, you are not in Oklahoma. You're joining us from the Pacific Northwest, aren't you?
Yes, I am joining you from Gig Harbor, Washington, which is probably an hour south of Seattle. It's currently sunny and 71 degrees here today.
I think you're warmer than we are today.
It's warm.
So, Shana, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? Have you always lived in Southern Washington or?
Actually, no. I grew up on Coeur d'Alene Indian Reservation in Idaho. My mother was a teacher. So from there, after about middle school, we moved to Washington State and I graduated. And then I went to college. And after that, I got married to the military and I moved around a lot. I pretty much every state imaginable, I think we were stationed at sea. So after that, I've got 3 wonderful children. I have 10 wonderful grandchildren, which is where you get the 10 Buffaloes art from.
I was going to ask you where the name 10 Buffaloes come from.
It's because I have 10 grandkids. So, and I try to share my art with them as well and encourage their artisticness. So we kind of merged them. I currently, like I said, I live in Gig Harbor. I stay at home and take care of grandchildren and do art and teach them currently right now.
Okay. Sounds like you're keeping busy then.
Yes.
You recently took on a project when COVID-19 hit. Tell us a little bit about your project that you took on.
So I have 2 small businesses, the 10 Buffaloes Art, and then we have Littlefoot Designs, which is our vinyl and embroidery business. When COVID started, we decided to put both of those businesses aside and we started making masks. We've sewn close to about 2,000 masks since March 19th. Between my daughter and myself and my mother. We currently send them to my dad's reservation in Wyoming, and we send them to other tribal members. We also work with nonprofit groups who we currently supply masks to, and pretty much everybody in the state of Washington, as well as out of state and American Airlines as well. We also supply their masks for free.
Oh, wow. That's incredible. I'm sure that's been fulfilling for you and for the people that you do this service for.
We do it because it's our goal to kind of spread a little humanity in the world, have a little faith in another human being. I'm a big believer of that. So every time I make a mask, I just hope it reaches them with enough positivity that they can get through their day.
Oh, that's wonderful. So do you have a favorite piece of art that you have created?
Yes, unfortunately, it's not here because it's in an art show that's currently closed and locked up right now. But you can see it on my you can see it on my website. It has. Oh, go ahead.
We're going to put links to that, all your website and social media, in the comments on the video. So.
Okay. So, but yeah, it has a buffalo and the red handprint for missing, Indigenous women, as well as the sage. Everything that's sacred to us is within that. And it's very bright colors, which is very indicative of Ojibwe art, which is what I also like to marry into my art, along with the plains and the coastal art.
Very neat. Now, behind you, you have a few pieces. Which one of those would you like to talk to us about tonight?
Let's go with our ballerina. Let me see if I can bring it up here closer to you.
So it's a ballerina with a fancy shawl, isn't it?
Yes, it is a ballerina and a fancy shawl. My granddaughter does ballet and she also does fancy shawl. So I've kind of married the two. The title of this piece is "This is Our Ballet," because technically fancy shawl very much our ballet.
Very much, yes, that's perfect.
So, and within this, you'll see that we have We have the typical Ojibwe moon that's in it with some leg Ojibwe, as well as the plain style, very red, just ribbon type shawl. So again, it's mirroring the three things that, are important to me.
Right, all your influences. Now, you were
Yes.
telling me before that your dad was an artist. Is that right?
Yes, my dad was an artist. I actually have some of his artwork hanging up in my studio. So, but yes, he was an artist. So I kind of inherited, I think, some of his skill when it comes through that. And there's times where I sometimes think that, hey, dad's helping me paint. So,
Oh, that's great. I've noticed a theme with most of our artists this week is that they either share their art with their younger generation or they, grew up with artists around them. And that's very important. I mean, to have that exposure to art. And this is one of the reasons why we're doing what we're doing here, the Oklahoma Indian Festival, is to expose everybody to the arts, to Native American art specifically. A lot of our artists have suffered because of the shows shutting down this spring. And like you said, you had stuff that's locked up because it was in a display, in an exhibit, and you can't even get your own art out right now.
I have two that are currently in a show that I can't access currently right now. And it is hard because, we rely on the powwows and the circuit as well as art shows and art festivals to show our work. And when we don't have those available, we have to start thinking outside of the box on how it is that we can start sharing this with other people to kind of drive our own small business revenues up.
Right, right. Because it is the business of art. Now, I see one that look. I see a couple of pieces back there that look more coastal style.
Okay, so this one right here, I bring it up, but it's really heavy. It's not done yet.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Didn't mean to call you out when it wasn't done.
No, my daughter's like, put it up there. It shows that you're working on something.
That's
done. Yeah. It has a thunderbird that's carved into the top of it, and it has a bear that's carved into the bottom of it. And it actually will be a lamp by the time I get done with it.
A lamp. Wow.
Yes, it will be a lamp.
Do you do all your own carving by hand?
I do all my own carving by hand, yes, and a Dremel tool. Dremels are your
not just a little, little tink, tink, tink.
I do some of those, yes, but over the years, bad hands after a while. So sometimes you use Dremels, which actually, if you talk to a lot of carvers, they actually like using the Dremels because you get finer lines. They've actually moved over to a lot of that.
Right. And you still hand draw everything yourself. So, I mean.
I still hand draw. I love painting on wood because if I mess up or don't like it, I just go down and grab my sander and sand it all off and I have a whole other canvas.
That's true. Gesso is also an artist's best friend too. You just white out that whole board, start all over again.
Exactly. And sometimes the wood doesn't want you to go a direction. So I'm just like, okay, wipe it off and find the next direction that it wants you to go. And I do that a lot.
Because it's natural and it has grain in it, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. It does. You kind of want to let it kind of guide you on what it is that it wants you to do.
Now, you mentioned you have a website, so we're going to go ahead and put that up on the chat. And you have you're on Facebook, right?
Yes, I am on Facebook.
What's the best place to find you? Because I found you in two places on Facebook. I found your group and I found your page.
Yes, the page is the best way to get a hold of me. The group I kind of started first when I started this whole going online thing. Then I created the page, and then of course the website followed after that. Right. But there's more items on the website than there is actually on the page because I'm better at updating my website than I am updating my page.
Yeah, like you said, a lot of artists, they're not used to having that online presence because they do pretty well at shows and powwows and other events. So, and sometimes it's hard just keeping up with the amount that you need to produce for a show. Never mind having the time to do everything else. So.
Well, exactly. I mean, you do all your art and you bundle it all up and you go to a show and you spend 8 to 10 hours there. Whereas now thinking outside the box, you have to go online. So it's like you create the art, then you have to find the best way to photograph it, and then you have to upload it. And I currently have 5 grandkids living with me right now, so.
I'm sure they keep you busy.
Oh, they do. They do. And when I start painting, they're like, ooh, can I paint? And I'm like, on the floor. Paint on the floor, not on my desk.
On the floor. I always used to give my kids, I don't know, little canvases to, here, go to town, paint on that.
Yep.
And just let them paint to their heart's content. So
most of my paintings I do have prints of too.
So now you've that skull, you've got a couple of skulls back there, don't you?
Yes, I do. So these are wolf skulls from Wrangell, Alaska, and I paint them. My father-in-law sent them to me. They're about 15 years old. So I've got 3 of them right now. I have this one, which is just called Plains because it's done in the traditional Plains style motif. And then I have 2 other ones as well. One is mounted to mahogany and oak, which I put together myself. And half the skull is raw and half the skull is painted in the medicine and traditional colors.
That sounds amazing. Every night this week I've been interviewing artists, and each one just their work is amazing. You know, I'm just blessed to have all you here on here with me, because every time I turn around, you know, they all have different disciplines. We have leather workers, we have jewelers, we have painters, we have people who draw, and it's all different styles. And you know, one after another, there are, I mean, such high caliber artists, just like yourself, Shana. I mean, I love your work. I'm like, I'm gonna have to shop your website later on. I'll trade you the earrings for something.
Okay, good trade. I like making trades.
Yeah. So,
but I'm very honored to be a part of this too. Thank you very much.
You are so welcome, and thank you for reaching out for us to get involved in this. When we started it, or I started it really, I just said, "Hey, you guys, I have this idea," and they went, "Okay, yeah." You do it. We'll follow you. And then it grew from there. And, you know, we did our first one not quite a month ago. It was a weekend we were supposed to all be in Cahokia for their show. And when we did our first one, and then everyone was like, that was good. We need to do more. So here we are doing more. And I got a couple announcements that I'm saving for tomorrow for everybody. But, you know, we might be doing even more later on down the road.
I am really enjoying it. Definitely. Different way, whole different avenue, the whole interview.
Right. And
you know, online thing. I think it's pretty cool. So I congratulate you on taking the initial step in doing this. It's very awesome.
And now your website is 10 Buffaloes Art?
10buffaloes.com.
10buffaloes.com. Okay.
Yes.
Mary Beth is going to go ahead and put that in the comments for everybody to find a link to that, and then as well as your Facebook. And Mary Beth is joining us behind the scenes for those of you, you know, give a shout out to Mary Beth because she's been awesome helping us out. We've just figured out we need to upgrade our internet here, and so we'll be doing that next week, and
there's the thumbs up.
That will help a little bit. So let's see. Do you have any questions? Does anybody have any questions for Shana tonight? Let's see. I'm going to go over to split screen here. I got all sorts of notifications, so there might be something going on there.
So I can't show you one more. Can I show you another piece?
Yeah, go ahead while I'm looking at that. Absolutely. Let everybody see what else you have. I love those colors. Love it. So tell us about that piece.
So it's called Guide because it's got the bear, the turtle, and the fish, which are the bear and the turtle. They're all sacred within the Ojibwe culture in Turtle Mountain. My mom's Turtle Mountain. So you got my mom, who's Turtle Mountain Canadian Métis. Then you have my dad, who's Northern Arapaho. So, and then I grew up on the coast. So that's where you're getting a lot of the different kind of art aspects, I guess, from me. Mm-hmm. And some of my stuff will actually have all 3 elements in them.
And I love that. I love that you're combining because, I mean, after all, we're everybody's cousins anyway, so.
We are. Somewhere down the line, we are.
We are. Yeah. So let me see if Mary Beth has posted any questions for us. Okay, she said she found it. She found your website, so
Okay, good.
she's added that to that. And I don't see any questions, but what we can do is if we've missed any questions, we can go back and answer them after the live, and that works too. And
Okay.
want to invite everybody to our big show tomorrow. We will all be on. I think we have 8 or 9 artists joining us tomorrow at 1:30 Central Time. So, and they'll all be on talking and sharing a little bit about their art. And there may be a giveaway or two. So I think that's going to happen. So we've got that going on tomorrow, 1:30 Saturday. I hope everybody can join us. And thank you for tuning in tonight. Shana, did you want to say anything before we go?
Just come by and say hi tomorrow. This has been a complete pleasure, and I look forward to seeing everybody.
I know we all miss all of our artist friends and our customers and everybody else because we're used to seeing them. We do have a question.
Yes.
So since your dad was an artist, did you actually train under him or were you just inspired by him?
So I was more inspired by my father. Unfortunately, my father passed when I was 6 years old. So, and I don't have a whole lot of memories of him other than his art. So I guess for me and the way my family looks at it is I've just kind of inherited his skill, kind of.
Mm-hmm. No wonder you said you kind of feel like he's helping you in certain things.
Yes. It's sort
yeah. And that's beautiful, you know.
It's my way, I guess, kind of my way of honoring him in a way. It's sort of like, look, Dad, here you go.
Here I am carrying it on. It's beautiful. Yeah, I've noticed that the art tends to run in families too. And in families where it's nurtured, it really comes to flourish like your art does.
Yeah. Well, and they tell stories too. Everybody's art tells a story.
Yes, it does. It does tell a story. And that's the most interesting part about the art is the story it tells. So do you have any other stories on your art, Shana?
Other than I don't do very well at hands and eyes. Remember, I went to college and I took hands and eyes. And
they are hard.
One eye's like this and one eye's like this. It's just, yeah.
I don't.
My dad had it down.
Either. That's why I don't do people.
my people don't have faces.
There you go. But that's the style too. So it works. It works.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you, everybody. Thank you, Shana, for joining us tonight.
Thank you very much, Lisa. I appreciate it.
Oh, it's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure. I hope you all come back tomorrow at 1:30 and join us tomorrow. Meet all the artists, and we'll have lots of fun with everybody on here. It can be a little hilarious at times. We have everybody on the screen. So thank you again, Wado, and tune in tomorrow 1:30. Don't forget to like the Oklahoma Indian Festival Facebook page and turn on your notifications for when we go live. Have a good night, everybody.
Night.
Night.